Hi there, it's Heather from Thrift to Flip. Today I'm going to go over my sales for the week of April 22nd through the 28th. Last week I went over all of my numbers and let you guys in on the exact amount of sales that I had, what my fees were, and then what my profit was for the week. If you'll remember from the last video, I had been averaging about $600 a week in sales. That was gross sales before all of my fees and all of that. In March, and this month, April, has been pretty rough sales-wise for me. I did talk about why I think that is in the last video, so if you're curious about that, you should go check that video out now. Also, I wanted to note, this is a series of videos I'm going to be doing every single week to let you guys just look at my business and how I'm selling and growing and just let you behind the scenes in terms of the numbers and all of that stuff. So if you're interested in these videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn the bell notifications on so you get notified when I post my next sales video. Okay, let's dive into what sold, and then at the very end of the video, I'm going to go over all of the numbers with you and show you what my gross sales were, what my fees were, and then what my profit was for this last week. So let's dive in. The first item that sold is this Eddie Bauer chambray kind of shift dress. It had some really pretty embroidery on it, and I'm always a big fan of chambray and like to pick it up when I can. It did sell for $20, and I was super excited to pick this up and flip it. I have talked in the past about Eddie Bauer and how I used to be really hesitant to pick it up, but I find it all the time at the bins, and so now it's something I pick up all the time when I find it because it does actually sell for me. So moving on to the next item. Next up are these Rebecca Minkoff kind of gladiator wedge type sandals. I was really excited to find this brand when I found them at the bins, and I didn't really inspect them super close. So when I got home, I was really disappointed to find that the laces, they actually lace up, and the laces were kind of coming apart. The leather casing was separated from the interior lace. And while they were still completely functional, the laces were not in great shape. I did go ahead and list them anyway, and I did disclose in the listing that the laces, the shoes themselves were in great shape, but the laces were not. And I had them listed at $49, which for a pair of Rebecca Minkoff shoes is actually a pretty good deal. But they sat and they sat and they sat, and so I started to do offer to likers lower and lower and lower, until I basically got to $25, which was half off what I had them listed for. They still didn't sell, so I got an offer from someone for $18, and I did accept because I was just happy to have someone wanting to buy them in the condition that they were in. And lesson learned, I need to inspect all the laces on shoes that have matching laces before I bring them home with me from the bins. Next is this Pink Blush kimono. Pink Blush is not a brand I was familiar with before I picked it up at the bins, but this kimono was actually so pretty. It had blue and kind of pink Hawaiian flowers on it, and surprisingly, I believe Pink Blush is actually a maternity brand, but I modeled this actual kimono for my closet when I was going through a phase of trying to model to see if that helped me get more sales. And I actually really love this kimono. It was just slightly too big for me, which is why I didn't keep it for myself. I don't think kimono matters one way or the other on if it's maternity or not, but this did sell. It did take some time to sell. I would say almost 2 months, but I did have it priced at $16, and I got a full price sale on it for $16. So I was happy with that. Next up is this American Eagle Outfitters denim jacket. It was a white denim with a gray kind of jersey knit material for a hood. And I loved this jacket, but when I got it home and stuck it under the studio lights to photograph it, I noticed that on the back there was a few discolored areas that actually look like bleeding from being washed with like darker clothing. I did go ahead and list it anyway. I disclosed those areas in the listing just to make sure that if a potential buyer was interested, they would see, that it does have flaws. And I had it priced at $24. I got an offer for $20 and accepted. Then I have this Billabong kimono. I love Billabong kimonos. I would pick them up all day long if I could find them. I believe this is the second or third one that I have sold, and they are so pretty. This one was a like almost floor length kimono. It had mixed prints on it, and it was just amazing, honestly. And I had someone actually request me to hold it for them, but I couldn't because I had already sent out offer to likers on it. So it did sell, but not to that original person. I got an offer from a buyer for $20. I believe I had it listed at $28. I got an offer for $20 and I accepted that, so it sold for $20. Next up is this American Rag floral maxi dress. It was just a beautiful, like almost a coral colored background floral print dress. It had an empire waist and spaghetti straps. American Rag is a brand that I find often, not all the time, but I find it pretty often, and I swear their stuff is so cute. It's so cute, but it's hit or miss on if it's gonna sell or not and if it's gonna sell for a decent price. I had it listed at $24. I did make an offer to likers for $21, which a buyer accepted. Next up is this pair of 7 for All Mankind Bermuda jean shorts. And I had watched a video on YouTube, I'm not sure who it was by a fellow reseller, a few months ago talking about how Bermuda shorts were going to be kind of the jean short style for 2019. And I've had my eye open for them ever since. And so when I came across these 7 for All Mankind Bermuda shorts, I snatched them right up. I did take forever to list them. I don't know why. I had taken pictures and had them ready to go, but they just were sitting in my death pile, essentially. I did get them listed and they sold within just a couple of days of listing. I made an offer to likers for $25, which a buyer accepted, so they sold for $25. Then we have this J. Jill embroidered top. It was a button-down top. It was very sheer, and around the sleeves and I believe the hem, there was some floral embroidery that was really gorgeous. I felt like it could have been a very like festival top, or it's kind of a boho style, so I did put that in my keywords in my title. And so I did have this listed for quite some time though and I actually had it cross-listed on Mercari too. And so it did sell. It sold on offer to likers for $16, and I was happy to sell it for that. Next up is this hoity-toity, that's the brand. It's an ombre tunic length top. It did have a little knot at the hem, and it was very cute. I have picked up hoity-toity a few times, as well as Charming Charlie. To me, those are both kind of in the same brand vein. They actually sell pretty high in terms of retail in little boutiques, but they don't actually have like super great resale value, which I'm learning, and their quality is hit or miss on them. So I think new, they feel really soft and nice, but after a few washes and wears, they start to break down pretty quickly. This one was actually in like new condition, and so I did pick it up. I had it listed at $18. I did make an offer to likers for $16, which a buyer accepted. So this top sold for $16, and it actually sold pretty quickly, I would say within a week of listing. Next is a piece that you'll probably remember from one of my previous haul videos. I do not know how still to pronounce this brand, but I'm gonna say Majin. It is a sheer tunic length top with a beautiful floral print on it. It reminded me of a field of wildflowers. It's from Anthropologie. I had it listed at $28. I got an offer on it for $25, which I accepted. So this top sold for $25, and it sold pretty quickly within a week of listing. Next is a piece that you'll probably remember from one of my haul videos and my bins trips too. And this jacket is by Missoni for Target. It was an avocado green kind of corduroy style jacket on the outside, and when you flip it open, it had these amazing printed fabric inside that was bright colors and just like really fun. I had it listed at $38, which I knew was pretty high considering it's just a Target jacket, but it is kind of limited and harder to find. I did make an offer to likers for $32, which a buyer accepted, so I sold it for $32. It did take quite a bit of time though, probably about a month to sell. Next up is one of those pieces that I just pick it up and then I try it on and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to sell this one because I love it so much, but I did list it to sell. The top was by Empire, which is a brand that sold at stores like Zoomies, and it was a Hawaiian print button-down shirt, but it was cropped, so it was super, super cute. Had little flamingos and palm trees on it. It was listed for $12 and I got a full price sale on that one. Next up is a pair of Talbot's pants, and they were heritage was the style, and they were cropped and like a sky blue, light blue color. This was the first Talbot's piece that I have ever picked up, and I actually had it sitting for like ever. I thought I had photographed it like 2 months ago to list, and it was in my pile to be listed, and then I realized I didn't actually ever take pictures, and it was a whole thing. So anyway, I did finally list it, and once I did, I actually sold it in like a couple of days from listing. And the buyer came back and told me, I love these pants, and if you have any more like this, let me know because I want to buy them. Unfortunately, I don't at this moment, but still, that was really encouraging. So I'm going to be kind of on the lookout for maybe this style pants from Talbot's from now on. I did have them listed at $25. I made an offer to Likers for $21, which that buyer did accept, so I sold them for $21 within just a few days of listing. This next piece is by Madewell, which is a brand that always sells for me. Sometimes it sells more quickly than others. This particular top, I was surprised. It actually took a few weeks to sell. Sometimes I've listed Madewell pieces that have sold within an hour of listing, and other times they take a few weeks. This one took a few weeks, and it was probably my favorite of all the Madewell pieces I've actually sold. So I was surprised by that. It was a stripe sleeveless shirt with a knot at the hem, just simple, super cute. I had it listed at $18 and I got an offer for it for $14, which I accepted. Then we have this pair of American Eagle Outfitters artist crop jeans. So they are that capri length, which I know is not super popular right now. The ankle crop is more popular, and Bermuda. So these ones are in between the ankle and Bermuda, that capri length. But I did go ahead and pick them up and list them anyway, because I know not everybody follows trends, and a lot of people just have those styles that they feel work best on their body and maybe become harder to find because they're not trendy and people aren't picking them up. So because I shop at the bins, I do take risks on things and will pick up stuff that's maybe just something I think people will just generally like, whether or not it's on trend, and this was a good example of that. I did have them listed for $25. I made an offer to Likers for $21, which a buyer accepted. So these pants sold for $21. Then we have this Athleta or Athleta. I don't know how you say it. I kind of say Athleta in my mind, but I think it's Athleta. Anyway, this dress that I picked up at the bins, it's just had a paisley print, and it's just kind of a basic like shift dress with pockets. Just pretty and a simple and like a good, just classic piece to add to your closet. I had it listed at $28. I had it listed for quite a while, I would say a good month. I did make an offer, which a buyer accepted, of $23, so this dress did sell for $23. Next up is a pair of heels by Rachel Roy. They were amazing, and I loved them from the second I saw them. They had chunky glitter in a charcoal color around the outside, and then the heel was like spiked, like with little spikes all over it, which was super fun. They did take about a month to sell, which I was surprised about, again, because I really loved them, but they were not my size, sadly, and honestly, I just don't wear heels, really. Anyway, so I did list them, and I had them listed for $28. I got an offer for $22, which I accepted, so they sold for $22 after about a month. All right, we have 5 more listings to go, just 5. This week I had 22 listings sell, so just 5 to go. And you've made it this far, so let's get to the end and go over the numbers together. Next, we have a Patagonia wool cowl neck sweater with 3/4 sleeves. This sweater was pretty basic. There were a couple of little discolorations on the front, which I disclosed in the listing. I had it listed originally for $28. I got an offer for $20, which I accepted. And so this sweater sold for $20 after about a week of being listed. Next is a Joy silk ruffle v-neck blouse. It was a beautiful, vibrant red color. And like I said, it was made of silk, so this top was just like beautiful. I had it listed for $42, and I was honestly shocked to get a $40 offer on this top, because that never happens. Usually it's either super low ball or they just buy it for full price. So I was like ecstatic to go ahead and accept that offer. I sold this top for $40, and this was my highest price sale of just one item for this week. Next up is this Theory dress. It was like an emerald green color, and it was made of cotton. It was pretty lightweight, but not sheer. And the coolest thing about this dress was the very back of it was completely open down to the waist. So from the front, it looks really like conservative and pretty. And from the back, the whole back was just open, which was gorgeous. I did have it listed quite high at about $48, and I got an offer for $25. I have talked about lowball offers before and how I try really hard not to get offended. When I stop and consider the fact that I did go ahead and pick this dress up at the bins for, about $1, $25 is still a pretty good return on that. So I went ahead and accepted. And so this dress did sell for $25. Next up, we have this sweater by a brand called Inked and Faded. I had never heard of this brand before. It is not a high-end brand. I did actually pick this particular sweater up at my regular Goodwill. About a month ago, they had a sale to clearance out all of their sweaters, so sweaters were 50% off. This one was actually marked at $8, and I bought it for $4 because of the sale. I thought that I was getting a great deal because the sweater itself was actually really fun and pretty, and it felt like a good quality. When I got home and checked comps, it was iffy, but I did go ahead and list it, and I listed it for about $18. I paid $4, so even at $18, that wasn't like a great return, but I just, figured maybe I could get that. And it's gotten some likes, but it just sat and sat and sat. And finally I got an offer for $10, which I did go ahead and accept. I was pretty bummed to sell it for $10 just because after Poshmark fees and the cost of this, I made about $3 on it, maybe less than that. So, that was kind of a bummer, but I don't have many deals that end up that bad for me. So, just chalk this one up to a learning experience and move on to the next. Okay, my last sale of this week actually happened on Mercari. I talked a little bit in the last video about how I've been trying to be better about cross-posting my listings. So when I actually create a new listing on Poshmark, going ahead and cross-posting it at the same time onto Mercari so that I get the more exposure to more people over there. I don't know how many more shoppers there actually are on Mercari versus Poshmark, but because I just really don't get a lot of sales on there, I think I've had a total of like 7 sales maybe. But again, I'm trying to be better, and that's 7 more sales than I would have had I not cross-posted on Mercari. But let's get into the sale. So this item that sold here was a pink by Victoria's Secret tank top. It was just kind of like a muscle tee, like sleeveless, and it had a little logo here, and then on the back it was quite a bit bigger of a logo. I had it listed for $22. I got an offer on Mercari for $20, which I was happy to accept because Mercari only charges you 10% versus Poshmark's 20%. So this one was a pretty good profit for me considering I picked it up at the bins. Okay, so there you have my sales for the week of April 22nd through the 28th. The total amount that I sold gross was $457 in sales. Again, quite a letdown for me. I would really like to have my net sales be up closer to $600. So my gross sales would probably need to be more like $800, $850, and I am pretty significantly below that right now, which is quite a disappointment. And I have had to reevaluate some things and set some goals, which I'll talk about in a little while. Now let's talk about my fees. So I paid $89.05 in Poshmark fees last week, and I paid $2 in Mercari fees because of that 10% that they charge on Mercari. I also paid $14.40 in shipping fees. Now, you'll remember from my last video when I talked about this, shipping fees for Poshmark are when you make an offer to likers and they accept. Poshmark does force you to pay some of the buyer's shipping as part of your offer. So I paid a total of $14.40 of my buyer's shipping fees from last week's sales. Lastly, my cost of goods for everything was $25 last week. $4 of that was for that one sweater, which is a lot higher than I normally pay for my items. This week's final tally in terms of profit was $326.55. So quite disappointing, and I'm really kind of bummed out about how the month is shaping up to end. I'm looking forward to May and just trying to stay positive and stay focused and work on, getting what I'm calling now my death pile mountain, which is insane. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen in my Instagram stories all about death pile mountain and what that looks like and what that, has been like for me. But I'm working on getting that under control so that I can put up quite a bit more listings. My active listings on Poshmark at this moment are down to 508 listings, which is pretty low for me. I had gotten it up over 550 towards the middle of the month, and I have been slacking off on my listing. So I definitely need to get that back under control, which is the focus of this week. I am focused this week on listing at least 100 items and then cross-listing those same items to Mercari to see how that actually pans out, having that many items listed over there. Well, there you have it. There's my sales breakdown for what sold on Poshmark and Mercari for April 22nd through the 28th. Remember, we're going to be doing these videos once a week, every single week. So if you like this video and want to see how my sales are going and if I met my goals this week, make sure you subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye!